In a quiet town nestled between golden fields and winding rivers lived two girls whose lives were about to change forever. Amina was 17. Her world was small but filled with warmth. Her father's tailoring shop, her mother's vegetable garden, her younger brother's laughter echoing through their tiny home. She was the kind of girl who studied under a flickering bulb, always hungry for knowledge. Her dream was to become a teacher, someone who could change lives like her old head mistress had changed hers. Zoya, also 17, lived in a sprawling bungalow on the other side of town. Her father was a businessman, her mother a socialite. She had the latest phone, a closet full of clothes, and friends who praised her posts, but never asked how she really felt. She laughed the loudest at parties, but cried quietly in her room. Her dream? She hadn't thought that far. Life was about now, not later. They met at a tuition center. Amina admired Zoya's confidence, and Zoya admired Amina's calm. Slowly, a friendship grew, not deep, but sincere. They never spoke of their families, only of music, dreams, and the pressure to live up to everyone's expectations. And then, almost like fate testing them both, they got pregnant, weeks apart. For Amina, it was the result of a quiet love, one that had bloomed in secrecy. He was a boy from another town, promised her forever, then vanished with the wind. Zoya's story was different. It was a careless night, a party that got too wild, a boy who never asked about protection, and a girl too drunk to protest. Both girls stared at the pink lines on their pregnancy tests in silence, but their reactions couldn't have been more different. Amina's world, falling and rising. Amina sat on her bed, her hands trembling, the test clutched like a sword. Her heart pounded so loudly it drowned out her thoughts. Her mother called her for dinner, but she couldn't move. She imagined her father's face, the shame, the disappointment, the hurt. It took her 3 days to gather the courage. Her father listened. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. He simply sat beside her and asked, "Do you want to keep the child?" Amina nodded. He sighed. "Then we fight together." Those 4 words became her lifeline. She dropped out of day school but enrolled in evening classes. Her father took extra stitching orders to help. Her mother, initially cold, began to cook her favorite dishes again. Slowly, painfully, a new normal was born. But outside their home, the world was unkind. Neighbors whispered, aunties scoffed, boys laughed. Yet Amina walked with her head high. She was not ashamed of her child. She was ashamed of nothing anymore. She stitched clothes during the day, studied at night, and grew life within her. Her baby became her strength, not her weakness. Zoya's world, running and hiding. Zoya's reaction was different. She screamed, smashed the test, and locked herself in her room for hours. Her mother was horrified. Her father was furious, not about the child, but about the scandal. "You've ruined our name," they said. Within days, she was on a flight to London, hidden away in a cousin's apartment. "Sort yourself out," they told her. "We'll take care of the story here." In London, she was alone. No friends, no guidance. Just her phone, a couch, and a growing sense of dread. She considered abortion. She even walked into a clinic, but something in her stopped her. Maybe fear, maybe guilt, maybe hope. She stayed, ate takeout, watched TV, slept, cried. Time passed, but she didn't grow. Her belly did, but her soul shrank. The birth of 2 lives. Months later, both girls gave birth to boys. Amina named hers Aries, meaning respectable. She looked into his eyes and whispered, "We will rise together." She returned to her studies as soon as she could, carrying Aries to class. Breastfeeding during breaks, writing exams with one hand while holding her baby with the other. She topped her board exams. Newspapers wrote about the girl who refused to quit. Her story began to inspire others. Zoya named her son Ryan after a door of heaven, but she couldn't feel it. The moment they handed her the child, she felt like a stranger. The bond was missing. She was distant, cold, unsure. She returned home after a year, thinner, quieter. Her parents had moved on, silenced the whispers with money and new gossip. They hired a nanny. Zoya drifted through her days. Her friends had moved on. The parties didn't excite her. She held Rayyan like a fragile object, not a piece of her soul. Years later, 5 years passed. Amina, now a primary school teacher, ran a side program for teen mothers. She wore simple clothes, spoke gently, and had a classroom full of children who adored her. Aries, now 5, waited every day by the school gate with a drawing or flower in hand. One cloudy afternoon, Zoya walked into the same school. She had heard it was one of the best in the area. She needed to enroll Rayyan somewhere more disciplined. As she stood in the office, flipping through brochures, a voice made her freeze. "Zoya?" She turned. Amina stood there, in a pastel pink shalwar kameez, a clipboard in hand, and the same calm smile on her face. Zoya's lips trembled. You work here? Amina nodded. I teach here. Zoya looked around. It's a beautiful school. It became beautiful because someone believed in it, Amina said, looking at her with meaning. Zoya looked down. I'm still figuring things out. Amina smiled kindly. That's okay. Some of us take longer to find our light, but it's never too late. A pause. Then Amina added, Your son, does he like stories? Zoya nodded. He loves them. Well, Amina said, we're starting a storytelling club next week. You both should come. Sometimes healing starts with just listening. Epilogue. Today, Amina runs a foundation for single mothers. She speaks at colleges, helps girls finish school, and ensures they know one thing. You are not broken, you are becoming. Zoya joined her a year later. She didn't come as a teacher, but as a student of life. She still makes mistakes, still feels lost at times, but she has started telling her story. And in every audience, there is always one girl who wipes a tear, sits up straighter, and begins to believe, if they could rise, maybe I can too. Moral of the story. It's not the mistake that defines you, it's what you do next. Two girls. Same situation, different choices. One chose fear, the other chose fight. But both proved, in the end, that it's never too late to turn pain into purpose.